Your customer is not you. Your customer is somebody else. He has come to you because he has expectations from you. He has a feeling, a faith, a thought, a something in his mind which says that I want to buy your product. It is your job to deliver it to him, not to fail him. Not once, but every time. As you will see, in the last 20 years, when India opened up, and especially in the last 10 years, a lot of foreign companies have come into India. These foreign companies have a lot of innovation. They have a lot of knowledge. They have a lot of R&D in their homes. Let's say LG in Korea, or Sony in Japan, or Ford Motors from America. They've all come to India in the last 10 years. It took them 10 years to come up to a sustainable capacity of production because India is very diverse. Like I mentioned earlier, India is perhaps 10 Europes put into one country, different languages, different cultures. Why does it take those countries, those companies so long to settle in? Is because to be able to adapt. Because they also know that customer is king. They also know they have to provide quality. But they have another challenge. They have to do all of that, but keeping in mind the price. You cannot go haywire with your pricing. So there are a lot of challenges in manufacturing. When we say leadership, there are a lot of challenges. Challenges of quality, challenges of meeting the diversity, and challenges of price. What does that mean? I know many states in India have red as their favorite color. Some prefer yellow, some prefer blue. So if you make cars, it's kind of easy. You will make a red car, you'll make a blue car, you'll make a yellow car. But let's say if you're making televisions, you can hardly ever see people making televisions of different colors. You'll have televisions of different specs, but not of different colors. So therefore, that adaptability, the price consciousness is what challenges these companies, is what makes these companies come and stay in India, feel that growth, feel that population. What is happening now is recently a trend which was not there earlier. And this has started because mainly of software. What does software do? Software provides a different class of people a different opportunity to grow. Not everybody has to be Bill Gates, not everybody has to be Steve Jobs. But if you start a company or if you even develop a small app for an Android or for an Apple iOS OS, you can easily sell it, not easily, but I mean surely the market has to accept it, but you can produce it sitting at home, put it on the side, sell it, and start making money. Something like that rarely can be seen in manufacturing. Manufacturing is a different gambit. Manufacturing requires a different thought of thinking. People say manufacturing is sunset, but manufacturing cannot be sunset is because we require all those products that you produce. Software, information technology, knowledge base driven, all these are the sunrise companies. They have been around for the last 10 years also. And they have changed the whole profile of our country in the earning status, in the earning income. If you'll see, that is why they keep saying India has a middle class of close to 300 million. A 300 growing population, a 300 million population which will be spending. Once they start spending, then these companies, all the companies, all of us look at this as a huge potential. We remember our challenges about quality, about pricing, diversity, but this opportunity of having 300 million is a big driver for most of the companies, for all of the companies actually in the world to come to India. So what is the message for you students? First of all, I think you have to be fluent in English. I mean, we all love our mother tongue, and there are a lot of arguments, debates I see about languages. But if you'll see, if you want to sell across the world, you can't be selling in Hindi, Marathi, or Gujarati. You'll have to sell in English. If you know French, Spanish, or German, or something, Chinese, Mandarin, that's the new thing, the new mantra is Mandarin, then you're better off. But for the first level, you need to speak English. If there's a foreign company coming into India and you want to do software with them, or you want to get into their manufacturing, an LG or somebody, you have to know English. If you're going to become a chartered accountant, US GAAP is coming into India, you have to know English. You have to know a language with which you can communicate to people. And therefore, English is there historically. I mean, we cannot fight it. We can all say we are patriotics, we love our country, we love everything. But at the end of the day, all of you, after having graduated from such a fantastic place, want to get a good job. A good job, start a good family, and then, finally everybody retires and everything. But throughout that curve, throughout that ride, you would like to make money. Finally, we are capitalists. We all are capitalists. There's not one person who is not capitalist, but capitalist is not a bad word. Capitalist is a word if it is done in a balance. Dictatorship also is not very bad. For example, you can have dictators like Stalin or Hitler who are bad, but somebody who had a lot of control, like Lu Ka-ching, the Prime Minister of Singapore, who made Singapore into what it is in less than 20 years. Singapore have the advantage of being smaller in size geographically compared to India, but still there was a leader. We are talking about leaders. There was a leader who could have been negative like the other negative leaders, but who was a leader who had the passion for his country, who had the passion for his people. Whether small or large, he set a direction for which for the first 20 years the country did have a very strong regimental rule. As I understand, for the first 10 to 15 years they did not sell chewing gum. And the reason they didn't sell chewing gum is people would otherwise eat chewing gum and spit it out on the street and dirty the streets. So chewing gum was banned from being imported into Singapore. Now it's opening up. But what is the point? The point is the leader chooses a direction which takes time. You cannot do things instantaneously. The only thing you can do instantaneously is a 2 minutes Maggi noodle. But it's good. But you cannot keep eating Maggi noodle every day. You're going to get fed up. So therefore you need to learn how to make rice, which will take you 20 minutes. You need to learn how to make a biryani to make it a better thing. So what do? You keep looking at diversity. Again, why are we looking at diversity? The reason we look at diversity is because all of us are different. And the reason we are different is not because India is diverse and all that, but every human in the world is different. And we have to be able to tackle that differentiality. We must. We cannot be rigid and saying, I like this, you have to like this. It doesn't work that way. What is the difference between India or the world like 20 years ago and 50 years ago? In the last 10 years, the world has added a population of number of people more than what was added in 100 years. So if you add up the number of people which have come into the planet Earth in the last 10 years is much more than what was ever before in the last 100 years put together. During that time, something called the internet came up. What does the internet do? The internet gives us knowledge at the palm of a hand via telephone or any instrument in seconds or maybe a minute. In earlier days, I don't know if your age must be what, 22, 23? So in earlier days like 30, 40 years ago, we used to have something called the Britannica Encyclopedia. You're aware of that? Okay, that's good. My children don't know what a Britannica Encyclopedia is. All they know is Uncle Google, because Uncle Google gives everything what your Britannica Encyclopedia gave. But at that time, what we would have to do is, if there was a spark to find out more about anything, one would have to go to the library, go and find the book, take it out, go and sit on a table, go through some of the pages, try to make notes of what is it that interested you, shut the book, check it out or take it home or whatever and go home. Today that knowledge is available in a minute, wherever you are. So what is the point? The point is that you have a challenging future. All of you have a challenging future. For you, it is going to be as easy or as difficult to make money in your careers. Why? Because years ago, there would be very few colleges in very few cities, in very few states that taught English, that had Britannia encyclopedias in their libraries, that they had libraries. But today, it's not the case. Today, there is an internet connection everywhere. There's 5 million internet connections added per month in India, which means you have a lot of competition out there. There are a lot of aspiring students who are doing exactly what you're doing, except it depends on two things. Do you have the spark? You need to have the spark. You have to have a spark. And two, are you willing to work hard? Like Swami Vivekananda said in the first slide, there is a goal and you have to work hard for the goal. So if you have a goal, you have to work hard. Because without working hard, there is no easy or free lunches in this world. And the earlier you realize that, it's better for you. Thank you very much.
If we have any questions, you're please welcome to ask. Do we have a spark? We need a spark. Definitely. That thought is going to be in our minds today as we leave this auditorium. I thank you, sir, for this wonderful speech and this in-depth insight on manufacturing and your wonderful advice to all of us. Please let us all have a round of applause to thanking him. Next, I would like to introduce our HOD, Dr. Balkrishan Sangvikar, sir. Dr. Balkrishan Sangvikar, sir, holds an MBA, PhD, and has 15 years' experience in teaching industry and research across well-reputed institutes and companies. He has also worked with the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, New Delhi. He is Professor and HOD of Department of Management Sciences, also popularly referred to as PUMBA. He is also a publisher of research papers in referred journals and a co-author of 4 books on business management area and marketing. Next, I would like to invite Sir to kindly address the gathering.
Good morning to all of you. Dignitary on the dais, Mr. Prakash Chhabria, Dr. C.M. Chitle, Dr. Ashutosh Kolte, my colleagues in the department, our visiting faculty, and my dear students. First of all, let me thank Mr. Prakash Chhabria and Ms. Ritu Chhabria for accepting our invitation to inaugurate this session and kindly addressing our students and giving their valuable inputs. I thank you, sir, for your presence today. Sir, every year, Department of Management Sciences, PUMBA, is organizing this national seminar on various important issues in business management area. This year, we have organized this national seminar on sustainable and inclusive leadership, the next big agenda. We have invited senior professionals across the industry to share their knowledge and expertise with our students. The objective of this national seminar is to make our students aware about the important issues related to industry and society. The moment we say inclusive growth agenda, there are so many issues, right, starting from reducing the poverty, improving quality of life, and ensure to the extent possible that all segments of society benefit from the economic growth of a nation. A number of macro and micro level interventions have shown that, and it has shown to be conducive to promoting the inclusive growth. If we will talk at the macro level issues such as improving fiscal discipline, trade liberalization, openness to foreign direct investment, privatization, deregulation, tax reforms, labor market flexibility, and providing social safety nets, reorientation of public expenditure, and legal and political reforms. These are the issues which are useful in guiding policy discussions for promoting rapid and inclusive growth in developing nations. At the micro level issues, there are many issues again at the micro level, like reducing income and non-income related inequalities, improving public infrastructure, healthcare, education, access to the markets, accountability, women's empowerment, and role played by the civil society organizations and good governance can help to accelerate the poverty reduction. And India with a sustainable 9% or higher growth rate will be possible only if urban and rural India integrate in economic opportunities and quality of life. This implies that the key levers to achieving the inclusive growth are increasing the availability, accessibility, quality, and affordability of various products and services so that all segments of population have equitable social and economic opportunities. Now, to achieve this, government and private sector need to work jointly while abiding by the fundamental principles of democratic society. According to a recent survey of around 766 CEOs across the globe, which are related to United Nations Global Compact, and there are very interesting findings. 93% of CEOs see the sustainability and inclusiveness as important to their company's future success. Furthermore, around 96% believe that sustainability issues should be fully integrated into their strategy and operations of their company. Now, this begs a question. What does this mean for those in the leadership positions? And is sustainable inclusive leadership different from leadership elsewhere? Interviews with successful CEOs confirms the importance of the context. For example, Jeff Immelt, CEO of General Electric, when talking about 10 keys to a great leadership, said that the most important thing I have learned since becoming a CEO is the context. It's how your company fits in the world and how you respond to it. This is the essence of sustainable inclusive leadership. It means responding urgently and effectively to the world's most pressing social, economical, and ethical challenges. So what does it takes to be a successful and sustainable leader? And where are the examples for all of us? In addition to the knowledge of global sustainability challenges, there was a research conducted by UNGC, and they have identified 7 characteristics which are very important for a sustainable leadership. Now, what are those 7 characteristics? The first one is systematic and interdisciplinary thinking. Second one is emotional intelligence, then value orientation, a strong vision, an inclusive style that engenders trust, a willingness to innovate and be radical, and finally, a long-term perspective. Now, which are the organizations? If you will observe, top 10 Fortune 500 companies, these are the companies who are following all these 7 characteristics which are important for inclusive leadership approach. Which are those? Royal Dutch Shell, BP, Walmart Stores, ExxonMobil, Sinopec Group, China National Petroleum, and Toyota Motors. So we must try to understand and study the leaders of these organizations carefully to understand the sustainable inclusive leadership. Ultimately, given the scale and urgency of the challenges, sustainability leadership needs to be a bold leadership. For example, when Unilever CEO Paul Polman recently launched their sustainability living plan, and it seems to confirm something, said Mr. Sandy Ogg, Chief HR Officer of Unilever. What he said, there is so much going on now in the world that if you don't have amplification and time compression, then it doesn't rumble. So I call that leading big. In this case, for Unilever, leading big means seeking to double the size of company and helping 1 billion people coming out of poverty. Of course, leading big on sustainability will means different things for different organizations and industries. What is clear, however, is that our global challenges are calling for a new generation of leaders and that are prepared to respond to the sustainability in bold and inspiring ways, which ultimately serves their business interests as well as societal interests. Therefore, today, I would like to advise all our students, please actively participate in today's national seminar. There are many experts across the industry who will be coming here today. They will be interacting with you and try to learn as much possible out of this today's seminar. And I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next, I would like to introduce Captain Dr. C.M. Chitle. Captain Dr. C.M. Chitle was the former HOD of Pumba. He was also the Dean Faculty of Management and is a professor at Pumba. He is also a research guide in management and commerce, and under his guidance, 19 students have secured their PhD. He has also worked as the Director Board of College Development and as the Head of Department of Commerce. He served as the Director of Student Welfare and has joined Local Organizing Secretary for Indian Science Congress held in the year 2000 during January. He also was the Registrar of University of Pune and was bestowed with additional charges such as Financial Officer, Director of BCUD, Controller of Exams, etc. He is also associated with Yashoda and QMTI Institute. And as far as social service is concerned, Sir extends a generous hand by initiating a training program for disabled soldiers. Sir shall be addressing the gathering in the later part of the session. I take this opportunity. We have two questions for Sir, Mr. Prakash Chabria. Dev Roy, you will have to come on stage.
Good morning, sir. First of all, thank you very much for joining us in this national seminar. My question is, Phenolics has decided to not operate outside India, as in it has limited operations in the country. Given the state of globalization, does Phenolics will ever increase from just cooking Maggi and rice to cooking biryani? As in, if you have to cook biryani, you have to go out of India. Biryani is not an Indian dish. So, I guess you have understood my question.
No, that's a good question, but like I said, there's a billion people. So I still, maybe for the next 100, 200 years, don't want to go out. Reason being, I can spread myself thin. I can be enthusiast. I'll get a Forbes award, a businessman award or something by saying I got 10 companies here and there. But the question is, do I know how to sell rice in China? I mean, China is the largest rice producer. So you would think I can go then? No, I can't. There are certain products which are sold out of India, like software. Software is one of the biggest exporters, which has got a lot of knowledge. And the reason we have that strength today is because we go back to English speaking. Now, if I was to make pipes in India and sell them outside India, first of all, I can't do it is because of freight. The cost of transporting air is frightfully expensive. So that is ruled out. But I can go to Africa and, and set up a plant over there. But again, if I have got so much opportunity in India, why will I go? It doesn't mean that people who go out or who would like to export is not good. I was talking about Finolex, about my subject.
Good morning, sir. It's a really nice experience and an honor to be heard by you. My question was, manufacturing being a sunset company, as you said, and IT services a sunrise company, how has the latter impacted the former, particularly in the area of human resource?